Over 1 million teachers use iExcel in their classrooms every day for one reason. They love it. Why? iExcel is where the magic happens. With just one platform, teachers can personalize learning for every student. iExcel gives teachers all the tools they need to enhance and differentiate instruction without adding work to their plates. Plus, iExcel has decades of expertise and has proven to be effective. Studies on more than 70,000 schools across nearly 50 states show that those who use iExcel outperform others on state tests. Ready to bring the magic to your school? Visit iexcel.com/PM to learn more.
You're listening to Monday Matters, a Principal Matters podcast production.
Welcome back, Principal Matters podcast listeners. It is Monday, so you're listening to Monday Matters, and I am Dr. Jen Schwanke here with
Will Parker. Hi, Jen.
Hi, it is July 6th, which means the United States of America just celebrated its 250th birthday. Yeah. I hope you all had the most amazing experiences, whether that was a parade or a cookout or fireworks, or maybe you stayed at home with a book because that's who you are. I hope you had a wonderful time, and happy birthday, right?
Oh my gosh, Jen. Okay, I know we have a topic, but I'm going to just, since we're talking about the 4th of July, last month, my son Jack and I got to spend 3 days sailing the Chesapeake in Maryland, and we spent one of our mornings in Annapolis. So we
I love it.
We went to the Maryland State House was open. And in the Maryland State House, they have the original House and Senate chambers. They've built new ones since then. But in the original ones, they're set up like museums, because I didn't realize this, but for 9 months, Maryland State Capitol, Annapolis was the capital of the U.S. before they decided to move it to Washington, D.C. And there's a statue of George Washington standing in that room, resigning his commission as the general of the United States military so that he could become the president. And as I was just standing in that room where all that history took place, I was thinking, man, 250 years of an experiment that was built around 3 branches of government. Because the cool thing about George Washington was he wanted to make sure it was really clear one man will not lead this country. An executive branch is set up so that you can elect a leader, but you have a legislative branch that's responsible for the laws of this land, and this judicial branch to make sure that we're enforcing the laws of the land. And that balance of power is something that we've been trying to perfect for 250, and we've not done it perfectly, Jen. But man, I was just so inspired to stand there and think about the neat experiment that we've been a part of for a long, long time, and the freedoms that we've been able to experience, you and me, and other people that not everybody gets to. So happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America. And happy birthday to my mom, Carly Moorfield. She turned 81 on July 4th. So congratulations to my mom for another great year. And we do have a question today. And here's why I'm the one that brought this question.
Yeah.
Why I'm talking about it. And here's why. I had breakfast this morning with a friend who is, she reached out to an executive coach, and she said, I have met with this person multiple times, and what I've learned is I'm not doing a good job at breaking. I am not good at over holiday break or over spring break or over summer break of truly giving myself a mental break. She said, I have the days off. I know, okay, I've got my weekends off, but I'm not truly disengaging. And it spoke to me because I am certainly like that. I don't watch shows. I don't go to parties. I don't I don't do that. I have my laptop and I have my job, and I like to do both of those things at home. So I think as we are here on July 6th, I want to check in with our listeners and see if they're doing better than I am, which is really breaking away, giving that mental rest, not just the physical away from school rest, but the mental break that will make next year better.
Wow. This is just yesterday, Jen. I had a district leader that texted me, and I won't read it, but I'm just holding my phone because that's where I got the message. And he said, Will, I've got a buddy who's stepping into summer just feeling really exhausted and discouraged, and I want to encourage him. And I'm not saying this is a plug for my book, but he just said, "Is there any way I could get a signed copy of your book, Pause, Breathe, Flourish?" Because it was so encouraging for me. I want to encourage him with it. And Jim, when I wrote that book, I wrote it for that person. I wrote it for myself and everybody else who's had to like, just how do you revisit those things that keep you human? And I think this is such an important time of the year to do that. In fact, gosh, way back when we first started doing this podcast together, I did a post called "Why Your Vacation Matters," and I'm looking back at those notes right now just to be full disclosure. And the very first thing I say, because I only share like 4 or 5 things to remember through the summer, is one, summer reminds you who you really are. It should. If you could do exactly what you just said, set aside enough time to take a break from the to-dos or the work, and I know that's not gonna work for everybody. Not everybody has you may have a whole group of people you're still trying to hire, or maybe you just stepped into a new job, but there needs to be some place in your summer or your break, whenever you're listening to this, where you take time for your family, for yourself, for your children, for good books, for long conversations, for walking hand in hand with somebody you love. I mean, whatever that space is for you to just rediscover you, because it feels good
Right.
to take a break from all of that and remember who you are as a human.
Absolutely. And I know whenever I have a break, when I have a vacation, I it takes me a couple days. It takes me a
Mhm.
couple days to really truly be like, it's gonna be fine. I don't need to
Yeah.
be everything to everyone all the time. So give yourself whatever grace period you need and allow that the freedom of time and summer to wash over you. And I know many of us, myself included, I work throughout the summer,
Yeah.
but I do save some vacation days, and I need to make sure that there's more than just one or two in a row, so that I can really immerse in stepping away. Now that doesn't mean that my brain stops. I'm constantly thinking about, newsletter topics or activities I could do with my staff or ways that we can adjust or shift or improve our culture. So, thinking, I've never mastered the ability to shut off my brain, but it is different when you are in a different setting. And I know your trip to Maryland on the Chesapeake Bay, that probably was such a great way to recalibrate, remember what matters, remember the
Y
beauty in the world, be with your son. Those are the kind of things that you just can't put a price on those. They're just
yeah, I'm curious, Jen, because this looks different for everybody, but what are some of the strategies or practices or things, the go-tos for you when you're trying to, like, mentally and emotionally detox? Like,
right.
what are some things that work for you?
Well, strategies, they haven't changed over the almost 30 years I've done this. A lot of self-talk. I need to remind myself that there is no emergency right now. Everything can wait, at least till tomorrow, probably for several weeks. So it's that reminder, the self-reminder. Second of all, I look to my role models. One of them is my husband. He is very good. He has a very high stress job in the education field too, but he can tell himself, "Okay, I'm done now. It's 5 PM. Today I don't have any evening events. I'm done right now." And he walks away from it. And
Mm,
I like to see people who do that because I can see the outcomes, which are a little bit more peace and calm. And then the third thing that I do, my third strategy is remember what I do love. Remember that, oh, wait, I do love to sit down and read a book cover to cover. I
mhm,
do like a nice, long, perfectly restful sleep.
mhm.
I love to go out for ice cream with my family. I love to walk my dog, and think, wait a minute, there's room here for those things, the things that do fill me up. I can remind myself that there's time for those.
I'm gonna add a practical strategy for me too has been to limit my hours.
Mhm.
Some summers I've been able to take off, like, the entire month of July, but this summer, I'm not traveling as much, so I've left my work hours open from, like, 10 to 1 so
Um,
that if people wanna meet with me or if you and I need to record, those kinds of things, but, man, I'm blocking off every Friday because I wanna just have long weekends, and I wanna have long mornings and
right.
long evenings, and so this is that time of the year that you don't get this much sun, all the rest of the year, and so those are some really practical things, and then I'll add one more thing, Jen, that brings me a lot of joy is trying to fill that Now, I don't always do this well because sometimes I fill that extra time with more to-dos, like
Right.
health to-dos or projects. But for me, and this is just will, but I like to use that extra time to stimulate some creativity.
Mhm.
So for me, I love music. I love to write. I do love to travel. I love to see beautiful places, and so I try to cultivate some of that creativity, that joy, that curiosity. So, for instance, when Jack and I took that trip recently to Maryland, and we had the opportunity, my son Jack, to meet up with a good friend, Dave Sandwich, listens to the show. He is a good buddy of mine, and he took us sailing. I've been out with him before. This is my third time, but we spent a few days on the water together, and man, I tried really hard not to look at my phone,
Yep.
to just like embrace the wind and the sun, and to get out on the water and paddleboard, and just to look at my child who's at the helm of a ship, and just, just soak in that moment, and try to hold on to that memory. Something else that I do that just works for me is I sketch. So if I see a scene, for instance, that like there was a moment when Jack was sitting on the prow of the boat reading a book, and I sat up behind him, and he didn't know I was doing this, and I pulled out my notebook, and I just sketched a quick picture of the sail above his head to the right, and the bridge going to Baltimore across the horizon on the left, and the railing of the ship that was passing me back towards the back, and just that, the small boats in on the sea in front of me, and a few birds in the distance, and that's one of those, slow down long enough to soak in a memory so that you can go back there at some other point too, because sometimes I used to work with an assistant principal who would keep all of his summer, memories as a slideshow on his computer, just have them running when the
Wow.
computer was asleep, switching to him at the beach, switching, and I'd be like, "I like that."
You're
That's
right.
just a great way to bring that world back into your other world. Remember, this isn't my only world. This isn't my only world. There's other opportunities out there that I can enjoy and hold on to if we're intentional enough to to remember them.
I took a walk with my best friend last week, Crystal Johnson. Her husband Greg was on this podcast not too long ago
Yeah.
for leading through a school shooting, and she was talking about those memories too, the core memories that we have, and that's not why I'm telling this. I'm telling you this because that walk with my best friend that I met when I was 6, that was a great way to be full. I able to say to her, "Oh, here's something that's frustrating me about, say, my family," and she knows. She knows. So just connecting with those people that you don't get to see as much during the year can be really
Mhm.
fulfilling.
Oh, you're making me so excited.
I know.
'Cause tonight we're gonna get together with dinner with some really good friends, and Missy's out walking right now with one of her best friends, and so, you're right. So, Principal Matters listeners, as you're listening to this, Jen, thank you for bringing that conversation here, because if you're even listening to this in the middle of July and celebrating the holiday and taking some time off from school, you may be up against some hard stuff that's coming. You may be already anticipating some really difficulties in the work ahead, and we wanna be here for you. If you've got things you wanna talk about, coaching questions, PD needs for next year, reach out to us. But man, the most important thing that we would love for you to step away with from today's conversation is take some time for you.
Mhm.
Take some time for you. Remember who you are. Give yourself some chances to detox, step into that creativity, that thing that re-inspires you, and build some new memories.
Absolutely.
Jen, how can our friends stay connected with you over the summer or in the days ahead?
Yep, I'm available. Just find me at jenschwanke.com, or you can drop me an email, or you can subscribe to my newsletter, Principal Problems.
Well, when we get back together again to record, it's going to be after, because we're recording this before your trip to Italy.
Right.
And so when we get back, I
I'll
can't
tell you all
wait.
about it. I'll tell you all the flavors of gelato I ate. That's my goal.
For sure. Well, Principal Matters listeners, thank you for the opportunity to share with you and to learn together and to grow together. We're just so grateful for all the friendships that we get to make through this show. And so until next time, thanks for doing what matters, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Principal Matters, the School Leaders Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, would you take a moment and like, share, subscribe, or leave us a review? In fact, if you share it out with a friend, even more people can become a part of these conversations. Sign up for our newsletter at williamdparker.com for even more free resources. And don't forget to check out our website to learn more about our books, professional development offerings, Grow Academies, masterminds, executive coaching, and keynote presentations. Wow, let's keep learning together. And thank you for doing what matters.
Monday Matters.